was impressive.
Are we good? Okay. Well, good evening, everyone, and welcome to the regular meeting of the City Council of the University of City, Texas. It is Tuesday, April 4th, 2023. I call this meeting to order now at 6:32 p.m. and call for Quorum Check.
Mayor Person Neville.
Here.
Councilmember Buck.
As an exception, I'm actually here tonight.
Councilmember Goolsby.
Here.
Councilmember Najarian.
Here.
Councilmember Shelby.
Present.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Here.
Quorum is present. We shall proceed. The invocation this evening will be given by Councilmember Goolsby, and I'll lead us in the pledges. So would everyone please stand.
Please bow. My Lord, my God, thank you for the blessings you've given us. Lord, I look around, I see the friends that we've made. I see the improvements that we've gone through. The abundance is clear. Lord, thank you for what you've done for us. Lord, we ask that you continue to bless us. We ask that you bless our first responders, our military, them and their families. Keep them safe and comforted. In your name, amen.
Amen. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Under the Texas flag, I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
I'm used to being on that side. I usually turn to the left.
I see the gentle giant right next to me tonight, and I almost stood on top of my chair. Thank you, everyone, for coming this evening. It's not a long agenda, but I really appreciate your participation. It's awesome. To start out this evening, I would like to make a couple of shout-outs and a recognition. The shout-outs are related to the Express News is the best in San Antonio. And I'm not sure you're all aware of this, so that's why I want to bring it to your attention. The Gather Brewery was rated one of the top 3 breweries in the area by the Express News. The Greener Grooming, which is in the shopping center right down the road here, Pet Patrol, they also placed in the top 3. And the one I think I'm most proudest of is the Olympia Hills Golf Course, rated number 3 of all golf courses in the San Antonio area. Wow, and these are by people who play and have pets and who eat and drink. So we have 3 fantastic organizations in our community, two fantastic organizations, and one obviously in our community with our golf course. So I just want to make sure you're aware of that. And the recognition I want to make, as I think a lot of you knew, we lost a really strong supporting citizen some months ago, a couple of months ago, who was really supportive of what we did in our community, was very active at the library, was very active as a volunteer at many events. And I found this in Sunday's paper. This is a beautiful tribute to Brian Hayden. Brian passed away a couple of months ago, and he was a spokesman for CDC and on anti-smoking, retired Air Force, and had both a lung transplant and a heart transplant. It's a wonderful tribute to say Brian worked for his community and his country, and I just want to make sure everybody's aware of this recognition that he got from the CDC as well. Okay, that's all I have. Anybody have something? Anybody else you want to recognize that's out in the audience this evening? Okay, very
Mayor,
good.
can we just take a moment and make sure that Mr. Neville can hear everything that's being said?
Dick, can you hear everything? Okay.
Good.
Thank you.
All right, very good. Okay, let's move on then to our minutes, tab number 8, consider the minutes. Excuse me.
Friends of the Library.
Excuse me.
The Friends of the Library would like to make a presentation.
Oh, that's right, Friends of the Library. It's time for you guys to make a presentation. Come on up. I missed that, I see it right here. My bad. Where are we supposed to go?
Wait till my gang gets here.
Okay, very good.
Just around here. Just gather around.
Gather around. Oh, gather around. We're going to be looking this way. Okay.
My name's Kathy Talbert. I'm the president of the Friends of the Library. And we have 2 presentations to make to our library director, Christina. The first is a plaque in memory of Dot Roberts that's going to be hung in the library. As y'all know, she was instrumental in getting our library started, and she never stopped supporting it. She came to Friends meetings like 3 months before she passed. Yeah, she was awesome. The second is a check that represents what the Friends group has given to the library and budgeted for 2023. And it includes money for the recently installed public address system, the kids' summer reading program, large print books, nonfiction books and Spanish books, round display units, and large movable display unit. We're very proud to have raised the money. We didn't do it in a year, but we did do it. So that's how much it is. So.
Wow, $27,500.
So Mayor, would you like to join us for some photos?
I would love to.
Okay. Okay.
You want to get in the center?
Yeah, let's get in the center and just all be in here.
You get up front. Yes.
And I'll take the check.
Ready?
I can't see the man in the back.
Oh, Diane. Yeah, or somebody can get on the other side too. Yeah.
There we go. Squeeze in the gap. There you go.
Okay.
Thank you.
And here is the plaque.
Look at in one place.
Do I just hold it? Yeah.
Maybe we want to switch out the check.
We could just do both or? Yeah, we can do both.
Okay. Diane, move this way just a smidge. There you go. Smidge. Let me.
Okay.
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Yeah.
Hang it up.
You get a real one. You get the real
I
one.
know, it's true. One that counts.
Christine, did you want to say anything to the group?
Yes.
Please.
Just real quick. All right, so I just want to say to the friends, this was my first year here, and so I'm so happy to have met all of you and gotten to know most of you and all of you for all that you've done. And this is my first time ever working with the Friends group, so it's been a pleasure, and I'm so proud of all that you guys do. I see how much the library means to you and all your dedication and efforts. It doesn't go unnoticed, and I'm so happy that we're moving forward and getting a lot of things taken care of for the library. It's going to be great for the community and for the future of the community. So for myself and on behalf of the staff, we sincerely appreciate it. Thank you.
As friends of the library, you are true friends of Universal City. Thank you for all you do in your volunteer capacity, and you're just invaluable to us. So congratulations and thank you for all that you do. All right. I'm sorry I missed you. I was so engrossed in trying to recognize some people. So let's move on now to tab number 8. Which is consider the minutes of Tuesday, March 7, 2023 City Council meeting. Mr. Neville, do you want to make a motion, sir?
Okay.
Motion made by Mayor Pro Tem Neville. Do you have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilmember Shelby. Any discussion further? All right. Call for the vote then, please.
Mayor Pro Tem Neville?
Aye.
Councilmember Shelby?
Aye.
Councilmember Buck?
Aye.
Councilmember Goolsby?
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian?
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan?
Aye.
Motion passes. We'll move on now to our citizens to be heard. Next item, it's a time provided for citizens to address council on issues or concerns that they may have. It's informative only. We don't take any discussion. There's no discussion or action taken, but we really appreciate your involvement and the way that you make your presentations to us. It does not go on deaf ears. So the only individual this evening that has been signed up is Mr. Bernard Rubal. Sir, Mr. Rubal.
Mr. Mayor, council members, thank you very much for this time.
had the opportunity during some rain and inclement weather to, instead of knocking on doors where residences, essentially go to businesses in Universal City, particularly in the North Lake area. The only business I had a hard time getting into that seemed to lock me out was an architect firm. Actually, I was there at the lunch hour. But essentially, what I'd like to report to council is that the businesses that I talked with, and there are quite a number, were favorably impressed with the actions of the city on their behalf. Okay. In fact, one business, Janicorp, essentially has expanded into a vacant area relatively recently. I even visited the merge site, and they gave me a walkthrough tour. And that was actually very impressive and very, very nice. So I just want to give you feedback that those North Lake businesses seem to be very happy with the city and basically thriving, at least the ones that I visited. So basically that's true. On the other side, visiting with residents, what I found to my surprise, there's also a reaffirmation of something actually our police chief said with regard to traffic being a big problem, traffic issues being a big problem in the city. One thing that consistently comes up with the residents is essentially speed, traffic speed. Even to my surprise, in relatively small cul-de-sac areas where essentially it's principally only residents that are going through that area. I don't think that, the radar sign will help improve that. I think that a police officer dedicated to traffic is not going to do that. I think we have to look for some education method or perhaps some way to slow down traffic other than the speed bumps that the city is averse to doing. There are other ways to slow down traffic. Essentially, some other residents have presented that. But it was a surprise to me to hear so many residents in so many areas talk about speed in their neighborhood. So even those, in many cases, their own neighbors, effectively. So perhaps that can be raised to a slightly different level within the police department, perhaps along the educational level, or seeking some other way to moderate speed in those areas. Thank you very much for your time.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Rubin. Anyone else want to address council if didn't have a chance to sign up? Yes, ma'am.
Hi, my name is Christina Fitzpatrick, and I live at 206 Quail Drive. When I moved here, one of the first things my husband and I did was attend the Citizens Police Academy. And we learned a tremendous amount. It was really kind of a springboard for us to get involved and be active within the community. It was really a great segue for us. And since the last year or so, I've been serving as a special project coordinator for that alumni association group, the all phonetic symbols, and I hate to say. But one of the ideas I talked with the chief about was actually doing a junior Citizens Police Academy. And he was really on board with that. And then while we were at the pumpkin patch, I had a chance to talk with some of the fire personnel when we were working with them. And they were talking about doing a camp. And so I'm really excited to announce that we're going to have our first ever Heroes Academy camp this summer. It's going to be June 6th through the 10th. The times will be 9 to 4. We were going to have it be 10 to 3, but the three groups, the fire, the police, and the EMS, all decided that they needed more time. This is going to be a very experiential camp. They're going to get to try on gear. They're going to get to hold the jaws of life. They're going to get to watch them extract somebody from the car, or not somebody, but do the jaws of life in the car. They're going to get to rappel down the tower. They're talking about having the drunk goggles out and letting them drive a go-kart around the parking lot. But then the final piece of it that's going to be very reinforcing is on Saturday, their parents get to come and the kids are going to get to show their parents what they learned. And so they're going to kind of be the instructors. And the kids will walk away with a certificate to stop the bleed. They're going to probably walk away with a certificate in CPR. So they're going to walk away with real tangible things. They're going to have relationships and gotten to have met members of our first responders. And so I will say that our first responders are as excited as I've ever seen them about something. They are so jazzed about this and thinking about different things that they can do. And if it really takes off, we might have another session this summer. So we have a limit of 20. It's going to be targeted towards kids that are 12 to 14. And so you should be looking to see some advertising for that here in the next week or so.
Thank you, Kristen. Anyone else? Okay, very good. Thank you very much for your participation. Let's move on to our business then for this evening. We go to tab number B, discuss and to consider Resolution 878-C-2023. It's a resolution regarding the application of CenterPoint Energy Resources Corp. South Texas Division to increase rates under the Gas Reliability Infrastructure Program, suspending CenterPoint's proposed effective date for 45 days, authorizing the city's continued participation in a coalition of cities known as the Alliance of CenterPoint Municipalities, determining that the meeting at which the resolution was adopted complied with the Texas Open Meetings Act and making such other findings and provisions related to the subject and declaring an effective date. So, Ms. Turner, I'll turn it over to you, ma'am.
Wow, that's a mouthful,
Yeah,
right?
that's a lot.
So the question was, what does it all mean? So private gas companies, and of course I'm not talking CPS Energy because it's a public utility energy company, but private gas companies like CenterPoint Energy can increase their fees that they charge to residents and businesses by two means. The first is that they can do a rate study, which they send out to the Railroad Commission, and they go through it and they say, yes, based on the cost of the gas and everything that you have in the transport, you're allowed to increase your rate by whatever the percentage or the dollar value is. The second thing that they're allowed to do is what we're looking at tonight, and that's called the GRIP, the Gas Reliability Infrastructure Program. For us, we would call that capital improvements, right? That would be pipelines and easements and land and widgets and things of that nature. So the way that they don't roll that into their rate increase, what they do is they go back to the members that use the gas, the residences and the businesses, and say, we want you to refund us for all these capital improvements that we made. So rate increase and refund on capital improvements. So what we're talking about tonight is refunding to CenterPoint Energy the money that they have spent in the last year or so in order to make infrastructure improvements to their systems. Now, the infrastructure improvements may not be in our area, but it's in the CenterPoint Energy wide area. So the way it works is the legislature has set up that when it's a rate study, it is reviewed by the Texas Railroad Commission. When it is a refund that they are asking for, they submit the application to the Railroad Commission, but the Railroad Commission does not have to give any meaningful review to the capital improvements that they made and the rate that they're proposing to add to the monthly bills. So tonight we're looking at refunds only, and the only action that the city can take on behalf of our affected residents is to temporarily suspend the effective date of that rate for 45 days. You might think, oh, what good is 45 days going to do? But monetarily, it does add up. So for Universal City, I went and looked. We have 3,400 residents that use CenterPoint Energy gas. And so if their monthly fee is going to go up $3.74, if you take that 45-day period and you multiply by our residents, they're actually adding in $19,000 just from Universal City for infrastructure improvement. That nobody has looked at the numbers or anything on it. They just get it. And then I went back and looked at some of the other companies, like New Braunfels is one of their biggest ones. So the 45-day holding period through New Braunfels would actually be $1.9 million. So you can see it has an extrapolating effect on all of the CenterPoint Energy communities that they serve. And the question is, how many cities do they serve? And they serve 87 communities. So it's statewide, region-wide, and we all get charged for the infrastructure improvements regardless of where they were made. So let's say we don't go ahead and opt to do the 45-day stay. We just said, no, start charging our residents now. We don't care about the 1,900. Then what happens is for our residents, that starts immediately. For the rest of them that are choosing to do the 45-day stay and save their citizens some money, they'll actually won't start getting their rate increase for 45 days. So then the question is, how is all of this getting paid for? Well, believe it or not, this is actually pro bono work that is done by law firms. I think it was Councilmember Buck that had mentioned to me, hey, I looked at somebody else's and every one of these ordinances look exactly the same. It's because we're all using CenterPoint energy, and the ordinances and the resolutions and the data is the same for all of us, and that's the economies of scale. That way the firms that are doing the pro bono work for us don't have to recreate the wheel every time. They do the same thing for every city. All of our stuff is due to them on the same day. All the stuff is due to CenterPoint and the Railroad Commission on the same day. So that's what you have before you this evening, and that's basically what the GRIP program is about, and that's why every year when it comes about, we take our 45-day, I call it stay of execution, but it's actually a stay of implementation. Any questions?
Okay, let's take a motion and then we'll go for discussion.
Move to approve.
Second.
Councilmember Shelby, second Councilmember Najarian. All right, open for discussion. Questions of concern? Mr. Buck?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Ms. Turner, how many municipalities across Texas that are served by CenterPoint gas, wow, I feel really loud, are implementing the 45-day watch, and how many are not?
So I don't know, right? We're only looking at ourselves. I know a few of the communities around us that are affected by it that will absolutely take it because we've had this discussion. But for the other 86, I have no idea because they go far and wide, and I don't necessarily have contacts individually with them.
And they're all having their city council meetings right now debating on whether they should implement the 45-day waiting period, so we don't know. Do you have any historical data by any chance?
So, according to the pro bono attorney, almost all cities take the 45-day stay of execution, right? They always want to do the best thing they can by their residents. We have no control over the fee that they're getting charged. No one has any control over it. But this is just one of the ways that we just stave it off for just a little while longer.
And as what is the acronym here? The
GRIP?
No, not the GRIP, doggone it, I had it. The Alliance of CenterPoint Municipalities, as they've done their reviews of the proposed rate increases in the past, have they ever found any errors that have come back and resulted in a change in the numbers that they presented to the municipalities?
Right, and the answer is yes and no, because for the GRIP, all we're really doing is the attorney is looking at it to make sure that they provided the Railroad Commission with everything that they needed and that it comported with what state law requires them to get, right? On that end, no changes other than, hey, they didn't submit this and you need to go back and have them submit it. On the rate side, yes, a lot of number crunching going on and checking what they're doing on that, but we're not going to get to the rate study until later next year.
Okay.
But at that time, there will be a fee. It won't be pro bono. What we do is even though we have the consortium, right, we're in small little pocket areas. We're in with 12 other cities, I believe. And the law firms that handle the rate studies for the public or private utility companies, their fee is that they can charge each consortium is $25,000. So the last time we did a rate study, which I think was in 2019, the fee for Universal City to have this law firm / accounting firm go through and check the numbers was $1,700. That was our portion of it. So they do everything they can to keep the impact on the residents and the cities as small as possible. Our hope is at some point in the future that legislation will come about that if this law is going to be in place, that the utility companies themselves would reimburse the city for the fees that we spend in checking their numbers. But that legislation hasn't passed yet.
Thank you. Last question. As a member of the Alliance of CenterPoint Municipalities, do we derive any other additional benefits from our membership in the coalition, or is it really only that once a year or every other year when they come with their rate increases and the GRIP increases?
Rate increases and GRIP, that's it.
Very well. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Anyone else? Okay, so we're looking for, we do have to consider this resolution, so we do have a motion and a second. So if there's no other discussion, I'll call for the vote then, please.
Councilmember Shelby,
Aye.
Councilmember Najarian,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Neville,
Aye.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Councilmember Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. We move on to tab number C. Discuss and to consider a TexPool resolution authorizing council to update and the authorized representatives on the city's TexPool account. Ms. Turner?
Thank you, Mayor. As you know, we do have the TexPool account as a governmental body. And two of the members that were able to do the TexPool work obviously are no longer with the city. So we need council to approve this resolution amending our authorized representatives. So the representatives would be Christine Green, who's our finance director, myself as the city manager, although Christine will be the primary user. Lee Tollison, who is our HR manager and also used to be in our finance department, and then Mateo Garcia, who is our finance manager. And the reason we have so many, it's like everything else, it has to have the checks and a balance to it. So one person authorizes it, and somebody else needs to go in and approve it. And then you always need to make sure that you have enough people around to get that to happen when you need it done. So those are the four names that we're submitting for you this evening.
Okay, I'll take a motion and
Move to approve. Second.
Councilman Najarian, second by Councilman Shelby. Discussion, anyone? Okay, Christine Green may not be a person that you're familiar with yet. She is our finance director, just started recently.
2 weeks ago.
Has great wealth of experience, and I don't know if Kim's going to mention it during her remarks this evening, but we'll get a chance to meet her soon.
She'll be here for the budget cycle, so you'll need it.
Yeah, oh yeah, for sure. Okay, any other discussion, any other comments by anybody? Okay, call for the vote, please.
Councilmember Najarian,
Aye.
Councilmember Shelby,
Aye.
Mayor Pro Tem Neville,
Aye.
Councilmember Buck,
Aye.
Councilmember Goolsby,
Aye.
Councilmember Vaughan.
Aye.
Okay, that motion passes. That concludes our business for this evening, so I'll turn it over to our city manager now for her comments.
Thank you, Mayor. I do have some comments this evening. First of all, Easter egg hunt, Saturday, starts at 9. If you're going to get there at 9, you got there too late. That goes from 9 to 11. We'll have more things than the Easter egg hunt. Most of the parking is going to be over at the Universal City Park, which is across the street. Also, Chief Perna and I had a chance to go and meet with some of our other suburban city managers and fire chiefs to meet with Shirts to talk about the EMS contract. As you know, we have a 5-year contract with Shirts EMS that is about to expire. So they are looking at re-implementing that. Sorry, I have a little frog in my throat. Re-implementing that. I think some of the items that they're going to be proposing to us in that contract will be of big interest to the residents of Universal City and maybe a provision of service that they're not used to getting. I won't say any more. I'll let them do the presentation when the time comes. Also, spring cleanup starts the 13th through the 16th of April, and then again the 20th through the 23rd. This is our first year not having it 2 weeks in a row, but taking a couple of days off in between to clean up the yard and get rid of some waste. As you know, we get a large pile down there and we're always concerned about fires starting. And so this is one of our ways to try to get it cleaned up so we don't have to deal with issues of fires and things of that nature. We finished brush cleanup, much patience to the residents because you know they fell behind. This is when all the leaves and everything else happened. And so they were about a day and a half behind, but very thankful for the waste management crews who came in on Saturday and picked up, even though it was their day off, and then came back again on Monday, and then picked up a few more houses again today on Tuesday. So they are done. However, the second brush cleanup is going to be on April 24th, which I believe is a Monday. It'll be the week of April 24th, and everybody can start putting their stuff out on April 19th to get ready for that. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that on April 20th, the splash pad will open. And so that would be a big day for the splash pad and for the library. That's kind of a precursor to all the summer library programs that they have. Christina and Jen and all of the librarians have done a great job putting together the summer programs. Normally when we think of the library and summer programs, we actually think of kids. This year they are actually implementing 3 adult programs into the summer. The one that I'm excited about is Painting with a Twist. So we'll see how that one goes. So they'll have 3 adult programs there. Also, I wanted to mention on the Gateway, there was some discussion at the last council meeting about the fact that it came out so late, so much of it was already gone. Yeah, we know. There's not much we can do about it. So on the issue that was supposed to have been out this end of last week, which still is not in the mailboxes, we sent it out 30 days in advance. There's not very many printers left. And not only that, they can't get paper. The paper quality has gone way down. So, but if you can get a printer and you can get paper, then the question is, does the printer have any employees to run the printing presses? And the answer is no, they don't. So we're going to run into that issue again. You're going to get your Gateway sometime, probably, hopefully next week. Most of it's going to be old. So one of the things that we're looking at is the staff. We're talking to some other cities to see how they're working around that. We do know that in speaking with the, what is the name of the magazine that comes in the mail?
Community Impact?
Community Impact. Same issue, had to change paper, had to change printers. Their stuff is coming out late, but they've kind of gone away from doing timely things. So they could do that. But, you know, a lot of ours is timely information because we're advertising meetings and events and they're on specific days. So we're going to start looking at some of the options to try to either go electronic or try to go to a new vendor or see what we can do with the Gateway. And so we'll be bringing some changes back to you on that. The mayor had mentioned that the golf course was the number 3 golf course in the San Antonio area. And they were beat out by the TPC, which of course we know is the, I would hope that they would beat us out. It is like the most grand place, the JW Marriott. And then the second one was the oldest.
Breckenridge Park.
Breckenridge Park, which is the oldest golf course in San Antonio and has a lot of heart felt for a lot of golfers. So I'm happy with that. The other thing that we learned this morning is that in the month of March, the golf course did 4,900 rounds, which is the highest number of rounds they've ever done in March, and it's the highest number of rounds that they've ever done since the golf course was opened 23 years ago. So that was pretty exciting news for Sal and his staff. However, there is some downfall with that because we have not had a lot of rain, and we have more players than ever. The grass is starting to show some wear and tear right now, and so with this rain comes the next few days and can chase the golfers away for a couple of days, it will do well to get the greens and the grass back at the golf course the way we need it to be. Early voting starts April 24th. I'm sure I don't need to remind you of that. Also, if you haven't been by Veterans Park or Cimarron Park, we do ask that you try to make a trip by. We're about 3 to 4 weeks from all of the play equipment being completed at Veterans Park. That has been very near and dear to Randy's heart, as you all know, because he designed that equipment himself, and then the manufacturing it and installing it. So it'll be a very unique feature for that park. And then Cimarron Park, which is down in the wagon crossing area, it'll be a couple more weeks and we'll be done with the refurbishment on that park as well. So that's what I have for now, Mayor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Let's start out with our distinguished Zoom guest this evening, Mr. Neville.
Thank you, John. I wish I could have been there, but for those of you who have gone through COVID, you know what the effect is. But I've been free of all of the effects of those for about 8 days now, but this is a way for another 2 days. I hope to be there at the first meeting, but thank you for coming tonight. But
You're kind of cutting in and out a little bit, Dick. Try to be a little bit closer to your mic.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Neville. Thank you, Dick. Okay, all right, Barrett?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Just want to wish everybody a happy upcoming Easter and good luck to all of those that are going to be Easter egg hunting. That's all I've got, Mr. Mayor. Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Buck?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. I've got a little bit of time to make up here since I was on my last time. So with your history lesson,
You're on a timer.
I'm going to come up with a new gimmick come May. Once we enter our new legislative session, we're going to have something else. The first animal shelter was opened in Universal City. in March of 1983. It was over by where the Public Works building currently is and is now used for storage. That was opened on March 17th, 1983. And in March 19th of 1990, fluoridation of the city's water supply began. And since it's timely for next week's budget workshop, or the venue tax workshop, discussions about a municipal golf course first occurred in early March of 1991. Took us about 6 years to get that passed and another 1.5 or 2 years to get it constructed, but happy and congratulations to the golf course for being selected number 3 in all of San Antonio. That was number 1 and number 2, kind of understandable that they're getting number 1 and number 2, so number 3 is quite the honor. Last one, on March 3rd, that was yesterday in 1992, this body first approved recycling every other week as part of the waste disposal contract. In other news, thank you to the Friends of the Library who are no longer here tonight, but for that very generous donation and all of their hard work volunteering at the library to bring that great program to the kids and now to the adults as well. Painting with a Twist sounds amazing. So I will certainly try to be there with my lovely chief of staff. I agree with Mr. Rubal. When I was walking around in the streets about a year ago myself, and also last night I sat down with a group of about 10 residents in Universal City for a couple of hours, and the first thing they came out with was people speeding down this cul-de-sac, people speeding around the corners. Just last week, 2 of our dogs got hit by cars. So I also feel like this is a item of significant interest to the residents, and if there's anything that we could investigate, that we could do that meets everybody's satisfaction, that we can meet. Mr. Mayor, I know you're not so keen on the idea of speed bumps. Ms. Turner, I recognize also, and I understand all the reasons that we've done this, but it is something that is of great concern to the residents of Universal City, as everybody who's out walking the blocks will certainly discover. Let's see, the Easter egg hunt on April 8th. I got my t-shirt. I will be out there at 8 o'clock to help deposit and guard the eggs and keep those little children away from the eggs before it's time. I will come heavily armed with a little dart Nerf gun or something. Fiesta celebration at the Olympia Hills Golf Course and Event Center on April 20th from 5 to 8 p.m. for happy hour. We will be celebrating Fiesta and all it has to offer, and also as part of the spring cleanup, on April 29th, the creek cleanup will be taking place at Veterans Park on April 29th, starting at 9 a.m. I encourage everybody to bring some work clothes and a willingness to get out there and get your hands dirty to help clean up the Cibolo Creek area over at Veterans Park. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Only just a couple things that I just want to quickly recognize my father, John Najarian. He passed away, and at 90, very retired sergeant from the Air Force. Lived to be 90 years old. Past 10 years, all he's done is travel the world, and he passed away peacefully. I have a funeral coming up this Thursday, and I've got a lot of friends and family in town, including my older daughter and my grandson, so it's sad he's gone. He had a great life. He was also a resident at one time in Universal City. He was very proud of that, and it will be a celebration of life with all the family here, and we really like that. And for the residents that have known and recognized and got with me and shown their concern and love, I really do appreciate it. Now, not to end it there, on a good note, I got engaged. Not that anybody cares God bless her for saying yes, because I would have been in a pickle if she didn't. But anyway, hopefully we get her, she's in church, so hopefully get her out here to be a Universal City resident. We'll be working on that. And just love the community. Oh, yeah, I will be out there with Mr. Buck
help keep those little kitties away from those eggs until 9 o'clock sharp. So anyway, come on down to the Easter egg hunt. It'll be really fun. Thank you, sir. Thank you. That's all.
Hey, Mayor, just want to mention the meeting next week. So we want to do what you want, so please reach out to us and let us know how you'd like this tax to be structured so that we can deliver what you want from us. So next week, Tuesday, 11. Thank you, Mayor.
Right, there is a special meeting next Tuesday evening, right here at 6 p.m. It's scheduled for 6 to 9. And the only item on the agenda is discussing the venue tax. So you're all obviously welcome to come, and you have an opportunity to speak, because it'll be a special meeting, so citizens be heard will still be offered as well. And it's our chance to just spend the entire evening discussing this one particular topic, and that's why we decided to do this. I appreciate council agreeing to do that. A couple other quick things. I don't know how many of you have had a new meter installed by CenterPoint Energy. I had one about a month or so ago, and they came to the door and were really nice, and then about 15 minutes later, boom, there was a new meter there. So if you have CenterPoint Energy, that's going to be happening over a period of time to upgrade the entire systems. And it's much more user-friendly, and it identifies if there's a potential leakage and stuff like that. So it's a modernization that we definitely need. Last week, Ms. Turner and I went to Austin with the Northeast Partnership, and it was a very fruitful day. We got to meet with many people, not necessarily just our delegation, but others, and we were able to express our concerns about some issues that are going on in Austin that could clearly affect municipalities. And this is our chance to say, you know what? Either we agree with some of these ideas, or some of them we don't. The bills that have been introduced, well over 7,000 bills. And you know that that's not going to happen. They're not going to all get enacted. But some of them certainly affect our cities. And lots of issues. Some of them are related to annexation, some are related to sales tax, some related to other issues that Kim and I had a chance to talk to. We spoke with Senator Zaffarini's office. We had a real nice session with Senator Roland Gutierrez, who used to be our representative in district in University City. Now he's a state senator. And so it was a very fruitful meeting. There were 46 people there that day, and we made an impact. I think we truly made an impact. Our opportunity to express our feelings on your behalf of what's going on in the legislature, and what we do agree with, or maybe not agree with. Because some of those mandates that may come down from the state are tough for us to have to handle, because we're the good guys in Austin, but we'll let the cities take care of it. Okay, but there's no finances that come with that, so that it's a really tough issue. Okay, so and the only other thing I just want to mention is that these recognitions by the Express News, in terms of the greener grooming and gather, those are voted on by people, and the golf courses are voted on by golfers. So I think we can feel pretty darn proud of those three accomplishments by our organizations that are physically either part of the city or part of our economy. Let's just hope that more and more will happen in the future, because we have some terrific mom and pop organizations, stores in our community, and they all deserve that recognition. So, having said that, everyone have a fantastic, blessed Easter, and we'll see you next Tuesday night. Adjourned.
45 minutes.